Hello everybody, welcome back to another watercolor tutorial. Let's paint a jug with, I really should have looked up the name of these flowers. They're like the ones that they give out during Easter Mass. They're really fuzzy. They have these buds that are really fuzzy, so I guess they're not really flowers. Do you know what I'm talking about? You guys are really good at figuring out what I'm trying to say. But that's what we're painting today. I'm gonna have a blue vase. Totally improvising this vase. I have no idea what this is gonna end up looking like. And lately I've really enjoyed painting like this, where I don't hyper fixate on a detail, like on a painting. I just don't think about it, just paint. Just go with it, see where you end up. And it has resulted in some really nice paintings, particularly the abstract ones I have found. So I'm trying to incorporate that into non-abstract paintings as well. So this blue vase, I'm just using like a really nice blue that I have, but you can use whatever blue you have, or you can manipulate it with black, with white, look up the color theory if you want more details on that. There's some excellent YouTube channels that specifically go over color theory. This one is not one of those because I am not good at that. But what was my point? I'm taking white watercolor here and just adding highlighting to one side. And then I'm gonna add maybe a little bit of black onto this side to, I don't know why, it just felt like I should. Okay. I don't want to spend too much time on this jug, but I am tempted to add a little handle to it. So let's see here. I don't know if you guys follow or know who Ballerina Farm is. I love her videos because she does very homesteady, like cooking from scratch stuff, and I'm very much into that. And she sells a blue jug actually that looks like this. And once I added the handle, that's what I thought of. Is that jug. So I'm gonna leave that. No, I'm not. Naturally, I have to add something after I say that I'm finished with something. And I'm making the inside of the handle darker because that's the part that's not exposed to as much light. That makes sense, right? Okay. So what I should have done actually is added like a inside rim here that was not quite as dark. Like so. Okay, now we're gonna let this dry and then we can paint those fluffy willow things coming out of it. Okay, so I'm just seeing if this paintbrush will work better for this next step. It's like a long, more liner type brush. I'm taking brown watercolor, mixing it with a tad bit of black, as I do almost always with my brown. And we're gonna paint like the twig part of these blossoms. And they're kind of jaggedy. like they're not completely straight, so just keep that in mind when you're painting them. And you want it to look very full at the bottom or at the base. So maybe even if it doesn't go into anything, just add a few extra twigs like that. Okay. So what I'm gonna do now, I don't know how to paint this part. Well, we're gonna try. So I guess you can take gray. That would be the closest to the color of these furry little blossoms. And you want to paint, well, first of all, water down that gray. And then add them next to, like kind of space them out next to each twig, or not each twig, that would take you forever, but kind of make sure it takes up the bulk of the space. Ideally, you want them in like an oval shape, but just speed along or take your time. I think actually, so maybe it would look nice to add a little bit of color to some of these. So you could drop a little bit of blue into some of them, or purple even. I don't know if you guys can hear that. That was my child. I think she's hungry. I need to go feed her. But I want to finish this up because we are almost done with this guy. At the bottom, you don't really have to worry about like placement because there's so many twigs here that it could be coming out of any twig. I am gonna add, I'm gonna go back to that brown and just add like little side twigs coming off the top. Just to kind of, not fluff it up, but add a little bit more bulkiness to this. Also, you can add little buds that haven't yet opened to some of the twigs. I like the contrast that this adds because they're dark compared to everything else. So that's optional, but I'm doing it because I like it. And don't try to be super precise with this. Just place them wherever. It'll make it look more natural that way. Especially at the base. You really want to bulk up the base and make it look like there's not much room for anything else in there. Okay, so I kind of like how this looks, but I'm kind of thinking that it would be nice if we added something to the vase itself to spruce it up a tiny bit. So let's add some flower designs to this. Just, you know, simple grandma style. Oops, I've got a hair on this. So my white watercolor is very opaque, which allows for me to do this. But you might have to use like white acrylic paint. It's almost too opaque in some areas. And maybe add a little bit of like white dottage. Coming from the ends of these guys. And you can go crazy, like you can keep going as much as you feel is necessary. I might add some white dots on the handle just to complement that, but I think I quite like how that looks, so I'm gonna leave it there. Let me know what you guys think, what you would have added or done differently. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.